It is a widely known fact that identical twins share 99% of their genes, in which many people consider them a fluke in nature, especially when there are 7 or 8 different types of twins. Identical twins went through a great deal during their time in the concentration camps, which resulted in many of them having scars as a consequence of the experiments that were forcibly conducted on them, I'm sure you all might have known someone who is an identical twin that probably didn't suffer the same, torture. But people who weren't twins suffered the same, but the twins were still hunted down due to their identical genes. This relates to me because being a fraternal twin gives me some insight of if I would have been born in a different time period, country, and also, most importantly, an identical twin. Identical twins went through a lot, and also many of them have perished during their time during the experiments administered on them. Therefore, explaining what twins went through, and what was the goal, and what were the after effects of the experiments will hopefully bring some insight of what really isn't known. And as we dive more into the twins experiment, we are going to get more of an understanding of why twins were really sought after during the Holocaust. Many twins went through countless of things while being experimented on. One ordeal is having to be separated from their family and the treatment they experienced from Mengele. According to Eva Kor, an SS guard has forcibly taken her and her sister Miriam Kor from their mother, in which they screamed and called her name, but they never saw her again. On the other hand, twins were usually treated better due to their use they have. And because of this, the younger twins usually referred to Mengele as Uncle or Uncle Mengele due to his kind demeanor towards them, until the trucks came to take them down. After knowing this, twins went through even more and didn't know what to expect after experiencing pain. There were many goals of the experiments I would give the Nazis. One of the many main goals is to see the after effects of the experiments injections that will help in the body. Due to this, Mengele will usually use one twin as a control, and the other was subjected to all the torture, which includes blood transfusions, injections, forced inseminations, amputations, and murder. And to those who have perished from the experiments, they were usually dismembered and studied. Some twins that had died were stabbed with a needle and were pierced at the heart, and then were injected with chloroform or phenol or any other chemical that will usually cause the blood to coagulate and then lead to sudden death. And furthermore, they wanted to do genetic mutations. Some of the experiments that were to attempt to fabricate blue eyes to create Aryan race, and to achieve that, they usually inject or do drops of chemicals in your eyes, which led to unbearable pain, infection, temporary and permanent blindness. And the purpose for this was to create a superior race. Even after going through all the pain and death, they were left with the consequence that will act as a reminder. The after effects of the twins from the experiments were scars and physical and psychological consequences. For example, the experiments that have caused permanent damage to the body. Miriam Eva Kor's twin has suffered kidney failure after she birthed her first child, and to which doctors in Israel found that her kidneys had been damaged. In other words, they stopped growing and stayed the size of a child, and which was most likely due by Mengele's experiments. In the examination, tissue samples were usually taken from the kidneys, prostate, and also testicles from male identical twins, which left them with some parts missing from them. Additionally, some seek apologies and possibly to forgive. Eva Kor composed a letter to Dr. Munch expressing her belief in forgiving her tormentors as a thank you for his gesture. According to Eva Kor, she said that the others had called her a traitor. For a traitor for forgiving her tormentors and also for speaking for them. And which was stated by her, she was doing it for herself, not for them. These are some of the many reasons of what twins experienced during their time in concentration camps. To conclude, identical twins were subjected to gruesome experiments for the benefit of others, which caused many of them to die from the torture that were administered on them. Explaining what they went through, what the goals were, and also what the after effects of the experiments conducted on them. Many twins wanted a formal apologies from their tormentors, while others didn't want anything to do with them, and they didn't want to forgive them for all the pain and suffering that was caused by them. Identical twins suffered through a lot during the experiments, which caused them to have physical and psychological scars, and that will always be there as a reminder for them. And these were when the kids were separated from their family, and this was when during the time they were experimenting on, and this is how Mengele looked during the time. Thank you for listening.